everything changes.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome into the channel. It's Sunday, January 24th, 2021, of course. Welcome back to our temporary home away from home while our house is being built. And I want to talk to you guys today, and I'm going to do this in a two-part little thing. I might make this two videos. I might do both of them edited together in one video, but how to make $50,000 a year on eBay and Poshmark. Now, this isn't the how-to in terms of we all know what to buy and sell in different videos. You know, I just did the video on 50 great items. This is the actual numerical breakdown of how many items it takes to have listed, the sell-through rate, the average sale price, the fees and expense percentage, the actual numbers broken down of what it takes to do $50,000 in profit. Profit is all we care about. Gross sales could be $100 million or 51,000 and profit 50,000. We only care about the profit, $50,000. So here's how I'm gonna break it down, because eBay and Poshmark are two very different beast animals, platforms that have two different sets of fees and net costs. So when we talk about sellers, and let's start with eBay. When we talk about sellers who wanna do $50,000 in profit, generally speaking, anybody in the clothing, shoes, or small, average sale price range between $20 or $25 in that neighborhood, if that's your average sale price, most of you operate on a 50% clean, clear profit, which means if you sell a $20 item, you make $10 in profit, right? If you sell a $20 shirt, $10 in profit. How? Well, let me break that down for you first. On eBay, whether you're on PayPal or whether you're on managed payments, it's about 14% out of your pocket. How do I come to that? Well, if you're on PayPal, eBay charges you 10% and PayPal charges you 2.9%. So that's immediately 12.9. PayPal also charges a 30-cent transaction fee. If you're selling a $30 item, that's 1%. Right? So that puts you up to 13.9. But honestly, if you're selling a $20 or $25 item, it's slightly higher. So that's where we come up with a 14%. Same story over on managed payments, just a hair bit less. It's 12.85%. And then they're also charging that 30 cents. So again, you're up to like 14. It's just pennies difference. So for general speaking, we're around 14% out of pocket for the eBay fees and the transaction fee, whichever way that you do it. Now, there are other fees associated. We have a store fee, but the store fee really, if you're paying like $60 a month and you're doing, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month in sales, it's literally just broken up over your items. It's such a percentage of a fraction of a percentage, it doesn't matter. But also some of you run promoted, 1%, 2%, 3%. So honestly, when we add all that together, you should just might as well figure 16% out of your pocket for eBay fees, promoted, promotion, whatever it is that you do, okay? So if we're selling an item, we're losing 16%. Whatever the total sale price that you have, if you sell an item for $20 plus $5 shipping, your total sale price is $25. You collect all that, and then you have to buy a label. And let's say that label cost you $5. That label was 20% of your total gross sale. Your gross sale was 25, not 20. Yeah, the buyer paid you 5, then you bought a $5 label, but it's total gross, guys. It's all one transaction, and you paid 20% of that transaction in a shipping label, $5. $25, $5, 20%, right? 10% would be $250. So most of the time, my shipping label cost, if you add up all the labels I bought for the year and all the items I sold, it generally comes out to about 18 or 19%. It's pretty close to 20, because sometimes I sell items and it's like $3 shipping and sometimes it's $7 or $8 shipping. It usually works out to like 18%, 19%. So let's just go with 18%. We already know we're paying 14, so that puts us at 32% of our total gross sales go towards buying those labels and paying those fees. Then you have a cost of goods on that item. Let's say that you did sell a $25 item. What did you pay for? Did you pay $5? Because that's 20%. Did you pay $4? Maybe it was only 18%. Generally, I like a 15% cost of goods or less. If it's up to 16, 18%, it's okay. 20%, again, I'm only talking about these lower $20, $25, $30 items. I don't want to pay higher than 20% cost of goods. So we're at 32. If we call it 18, that puts us at 50% out of our pocket. our fees, our expenses, the cost of the label, and the price that we paid for the item. We sold it for $25, and we're now left with 50% in our pockets clear. We've paid for everything. We paid for we promoted fee, we put a little money, our pennies towards the cost of the store, spread out over all the items, we paid for the label, we paid for the fees, we paid for the cost of goods, we paid for everything involved in the transaction, 50%. Now there are other expenses with your business, of course, but 50% is a good running average for clothing sellers, shoe sellers, and pretty much anyone down in that $20, $25, $30 range. Hold on guys, if you sell big electronics, expensive items, I'm getting to you. Working for one set of people at a time here. So we already know that for every item we sell, if we have a $25 average sale price, we're gonna be left with $12.50. Okay, so what does that tell us about our sales? If we wanna do $50,000 in profit, we have to double it. We have to do $100,000 in gross sales because we'll be left with 50% in our pocket, $50,000. So we whip out our handy dandy calculator on my watch here that I have. And if we're gonna do $100,000 in gross, remember guys, we sell 365 days a year. We don't just sell 20 days a month or whatever it is. It means we have to do can you guys see that? $273.97 a day in sales. $273.97 in gross sales, total sales, the item and the shipping that you charge. So if we go ahead and divide that, we just said an average sale price of $25 is a good target to try to get to, right? That means 10.95 items a day. Call it 11 items a day in order to hit your goal of 100,000 if you have a $25 average sale price and a $12.50 profit. So if you do that 11 items a day times your $12.50 profit times $365 a day, you'll come up with 50,100 in profit. So you'll make a little more than 50,000, giving you a little room. So that is the number, 11 items. So if you have a lower average sale price, it might take you 12 or 13. If you have a higher sale price, maybe you're in the $35, $40 range. Instead of 11 items, you need to sell 9 items because you're cutting that down. What does it take to sell that many items if you're selling clothing, shoes, accessories, belts, things like that, things in this price range? Again, I'm gonna get to you guys that sell more expensive items in a second because I have a lot of experience with the electronic side of things. That means most of you sellers, now I've looked through thousands and thousands of eBay stores. I promise you I've done thousands of store reviews. Most people in that $20 to $30 average sale price range with clothing, shoes, or a majority of it, even with some mixed items, 1% sell-through rate per day used to be a good target. It's gone down, actually. It's a little less now. And what I mean by that is if you had 500 items up, 1% was 5 items, right? 10% is 50, 1% is 5. That means if you had 500 active and the majority of it was clothing, shoes, accessories, whatnot, you could expect to sell about 4 to 5 items a day. 5 was your target, but it doesn't really work out that way anymore. Over the last 12 months, I have seen most people hovering in the 0.6 to 0.7 range. Every time I do a store review, I look at how many solds they have in 90 days versus how many actives. So if you have 500 active items now in those categories, you're probably gonna expect to sell 3 a day, maybe 4 on your good days, which means if you take your 30-day total, some days you might sell 10 and some days you might sell 1, but your average over 30 days should be around 90 to 100 items, 3 to 4 per day, if you have 500 active. So if we want to sell 11 per day, and we know it takes 500 items to do 3 or 4, well, if we double that to 1,000, we're going to do 7 or 8 maybe. We need 1,500 items to sell 11 a day. It used to be 1,100 items at 1% would be 11 a day. Instead now it's 1,500. If you have really good stuff, really good brands, and your sell-through rate is 1% or higher, then obviously you know that you will need less, right? So you have to work the numbers out for your store, but that is the breakdown. So 100,000 gross at 50,000 profit, 50% in pocket, at a $25 average sell-through rate and a $12.50 profit number per item equals out to 11 items sold per day that you would need. And if you're working on the averages that I'm used to seeing, you would need somewhere around the 1,400 or 1,500 active range to sell those. Now remember, if you're also selling 11 per day, which comes out to 330 items for the month, you have to be repurchasing and listing 330 items per day to replenish that inventory to continue those numbers or possibly grow them. That is our folks, those of you watching that are in that $20 to $30 range. It's where the one store that I have has hung out forever. Now, let's talk about those of you that are, and this is eBay. I'm going to talk about Posh. I might make it a separate video. I'm not sure yet. But let's talk about those of you that are in the electronics. I see a ton of you guys selling video games, board games, toys, video game systems. Some of you selling tablets and iPhones. Those are kind of way up at the higher end. But I'm talking about those of you that might have like a $40 to $60 or $70 average sale price. I was just going to put it in there at $50, right? So if we whip out the calculator again, let's say that you average that $50 electronic average sale price. Let's say you make the fee should still be the same, right? The shipping might come down a little bit. You might be able to squeeze out 55%. So instead of making $25, you might make $27. So let's just say that you do that, right? So we already know you need, if you're making 55%, then you would, instead of having to do 100,000 in sales, you probably only have to do like 90,000 in sales, because at 55%, we don't need Siri. At 55% margin on that, you'd make $49.5. So you have to do like 96,000 instead of 100,000. But 96,000 over 365 days is $263 a day. And if we divide that by your $50 average sale price, you only need to sell 5 items a day, maybe 6. So if you're in that $50, $60 range, you're talking about 5 items a day to sell to do the same numbers, as long as you're averaging same 50, 55% margins as somebody selling clothes. So you only have to sell half, and it makes sense, a $25 average sale price versus a $50 or $55 average sale price. Now here's the thing, if you only got to sell 5 a day, based on our previous numbers, at 1%, it would be like 500 items, but we know it's a little more, so maybe 700 items instead of 14, half the number of items, right? But wait, there's more. Electronic and toy sellers don't sell 1% per day. They sell far more, generally 2 or 3%, which means if they have 500 items, instead of selling 5, they're probably going to sell 8 to 10 or 11 or 12. I know people with 150 items in their store of electronics that at 1% would only sell what, 1 or 2 items a day. They sell 10 and 15 items a day. They're selling at 10% sell-through rates. So that number to sell 5 a day might only take 400 or 300, depending on what they're selling. I've had days where I put up 100 video games because they were so fast to list. Me and Kay just banging them out. All of a sudden, we sold like 20 in a day. 20% of them were gone by the next morning. So when you're selling in those higher numbers, it doesn't require 1,500 listings. It might only require 400 or 500 listings to sell the same, if not more, than people selling clothes. So the obvious answer is, well, why wouldn't I just be smart and sell electronics and tools and toys, things that sell super fast, as opposed to clothing and shoes? There's 2 answers. There's 3 answers, but there's 2 very important ones. Number 1 is capital outlay. And so capital outlay is how much money it takes to buy that merchandise. So those same items that you're buying to sell in clothing that you're paying $3 and $4 for, or $5 for, to sell for $25 or $30, in order to sell an electronic for $55, somebody might be paying $10 and $15. So an item might cost you 3 times as much. So if you go out and buy 100 items this month and pay 300 or 400 of them in clothing, those same items might cost you 1,000 or 1,500 in electronics. So obviously the amount of money you have to put out is more. You got to spend money to make money. So if you have money in capital, or you can reinvest, you should certainly start opening your eyes, this is the point of this video, to other things outside of the world of clothing and shoes. Number 2 is the readily availability of clothing, shoes, ties, accessories. Why? It's everywhere. Every thrift store, every consignment shop, every online, everything has clothing and shoes. Electronics and hard goods are not always the easiest thing to find. They're available in Facebook groups. They're available in the Facebook Marketplace. They're available on Craigslist. They're available on OfferUp. They're available through online auction sites. They're available at thrift stores and yard sales and garage sales and estate sales. Electronics and vintage and stuff are available everywhere. So my 2 pieces of advice to you are, if you are a clothing, shoe heavy seller, consider mixing in, even if you don't want to get away from the clothing and shoes and you love it, consider mixing in things with higher sell-through rates. It's why I absolutely, and higher prices. It's why I tell people to buy shoes. Shoes almost generally have that $30, $40 average sale price as opposed to $20, $25 for t-shirts or a pair of jeans that sells for $25. You can always squeeze an extra 5, 10, 15 out of shoes. So that will help you slowly move that price, move that needle up. Also, if you can start learning about one thing, whether it is vintage glass. Look at Lavender Clothesline or Crazy Lamp Ladies videos. I'll happily direct people to other YouTube channels because they buy and sell stuff that I don't know anything about. Antiques, collectibles, things like that. I'm always out looking for the electronics and the cameras and the lenses and the video games and things like that, or palettes that we can buy with that stuff on it. There's some people that buy and sell health and beauty because some of those things are expensive or it's volume. That's the other side of it. I'm not going to move into that part of the video here, but moving over to volume, like where you can make that same, small $8, $10 profit, but you're able to list 100 of them at one time. That's another option, of course. I'm just trying to give you guys a way to open your minds to other things. So don't be scared of hard goods and electronics. Don't be scared to ship them. I have plenty of videos showing you how to do it. I have plenty of guides, plenty of resources available for you to find out how to buy and sell more of this stuff and potentially listing it on other platforms. Using List Perfectly to cross list. That's the other thing. If you're on eBay or on Poshmark with all this clothing and not on the other platform, using List Perfectly means you don't have to buy any additional material. You just put it all over on the other platform, and you might sell a few items over here, which means you don't have to increase your inventory to hit those numbers. You'll get to that 1% between the two platforms. So keep that in mind. That's the breakdown on eBay for 2021. That's 50,000 profit, 100,000 gross sales. If all you want to do is make less or make more, you can do the reverse math and figure it out. I'm sure you guys have that under control. Tonight, this weekend, it's Sunday. It's the 24th. It is Sunday. Mark II, if you need help with your taxes, you need a licensed CPA, not your dad's CPA. Mark II, licensed CPA. He has in a tax academy for resellers. He's a seller. He specializes in e-commerce. He can help you get your numbers right from 2020, or if you want help with this year, 2021, please check it out down below. I'll link that. He's got it discounted for you guys, down $60 off the regular price, and you get some bonus products if you buy it. Please consider giving Mark an opportunity to help you get your numbers straight, and all the other resources as well are linked below. My website, my training, everything that you need. List Perfectly, my Reseller Genie for your accounting, everything is down there. So check it out, and until next time, I'll put the second video, which is going to be Poshmark, up right behind this one probably tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that one if you're a big Posh seller. Hit the like button and subscribe. You won't miss that video or any other future videos. Have a wonderful night, guys. Congratulations to the Bucks. Going to the Super Bowl right back here in Tampa. Well, right there in Tampa where I live. We'll see you guys at the Super Bowl. Bye, everyone.